So anything will do for this exercise. That's why I have a simple wand in my hand. But if you'd like to use a dumbbell or something heavier, feel free to. I'll demonstrate with both, just for all levels. I'm going to have you sit on the floor. All right. So I'm going to have you holding the broom or dumbbells or whatever it is in your hand right out in front of your chest. I'm going to have you, so with this exercise, I'd rather have you start on the lighter end. So I'm going to have you bring this up overhead, almost to where it touches the floor, and right back up. Down overhead, and right over the chest. So we'll do this for 20 repetitions. Okay. Now with dumbbells, it would look like this. Once again, I'd rather have you start on the lighter end. Right here, I have 3 pounds in my hands, right overhead, and back over the chest. Same movement. Good. Let's go for 20 repetitions here. Great. Good. And make sure you're inhaling as you come down, exhale as the arms come back up. Perfect. Okay, and once you're done with 20, we'll go with some abdominal movements. All right. So next what we're going to do, and this is called boat pose. So I'm going to have you lean back slightly. Now, if you can, have your feet off the floor and just have your arms straight out in front. If you need, you can have the feet on the floor, so long as the body is coming back about 45 degrees here. Keep the abs tight. Right, I'm leaning back about 45-degree angle. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. Ready? And let's start. And make sure to breathe. Really easy to hold in your breath on this one. Those abs tight. And done. Very good. All right, perfect. We're going to go with some leg movements now. I'm going to have you laying back on the mat. I'm going to have your feet flat on the floor. My knees are bent. I'm going to bring the hips straight up into a bridge position. So my hands are flat on the floor here. Hips up and right back down. When my hips come closer to the floor, I'm not going to have them touch the floor. I'm going to keep them just a little bit, about an inch away from the floor. And then right back up, right back down. This way we're keeping tension on the glutes and the hamstrings the entire time. Let's go for 20 repetitions, whenever you're ready. Perfect. Great. Just like that. All right, so once we're done with that, we're gonna go with what's called a pec fly. So I'm gonna be laying back on the floor. With this movement, you can just do it with your arms, without weights too, if you'd like. As long as we're moving and this is a stretch and a strengthening exercise in one. So I'm going to have the arms coming down close to the floor and right back in. So you can get your hands touching. Right down to the floor and right back in. So if you feel comfortable with this kind of movement and you'd like to add weight, you can. But I would recommend starting on the lighter end because this exercise, you don't need a whole lot of weight to feel it. Okay, so 20 repetitions here. Okay? And if you choose to do it with dumbbells, I have a set of 3s in my hand right now. Come down close to the floor and right back in. My arms are straight with a slight bend in them. 20 repetitions here. Very good. Inhale as the arms come down close to the floor. Exhale as they come back close to that. Perfect. Awesome. So next we'll go with presses. So with presses, I'm going to start with no weight in my hands, and I'll demonstrate for those of you who would like to do this with weights too. So I'm going to be flat on the floor here. My arms are flat. My elbows right now are touching the floor. I'm going to have my palms faced up. I'm going to press straight forward. Elbows come back down, touch the floor, back forward, just like this. Here we're working the chest muscles and the triceps, a little bit of your shoulders too. So this movement will be strengthening and stretching them throughout this range of motion. So if you'd like to do it with weights, have your palms face down, go to the floor, and back up. Inhale as your hands come close to the floor. Exhale as you come back up. 20 repetitions here. Great. Once we're done with that, we're going to do a different movement for the core. It's called a bird dog. So we're going to be on your knees and hands right here. So with this exercise, we're using more stabilization of the core, so it's not something that you might feel more of like a burning that you would in a plank, but it's still going to be working the core and strengthening it through stabilization because we're in a very unbalanced position in this exercise. So one arm is going to come straight up overhead while the opposite leg extends itself, okay? So how we're gonna do it is we're going to bring this knee and this hand right back in, have them touch, and extend right back out. Have them touch and come right back out. We're gonna go with 15 on each side, okay? So hands touch, extend. Inhale as your hands touch, exhale as they come right back out. Once again, 15 on each side. Good. Sometimes. And a variation for anyone who feels like bringing both the leg and the arm up at the same time would be a little too challenging is just bringing one arm up without bringing the legs up at the same time. So that way there's not so much pressure on the chest and arms. Okay? Just do that. And if you feel more comfortable, you can get one leg out at a time without bringing the upper body in the same. Okay, great, done with that. We're gonna have you guys standing next. Now that we're done with those floor exercises, we're gonna go to standing. All right, so a lot of these exercises that I'm showing, they can be done with or without weights, just because those movements in and of themselves, they stretch and strengthen too, depending on your strength level. So I'm gonna start with what's called W's. They're a form of upper back strengthening exercise. So if anyone is familiar with reverse flies, they're very similar. If not, I'm just gonna roll through this motion. So they're called W's because my arms form this W type motion, okay? So I'm gonna be leaned forward slightly, okay? So I'm gonna have your arms in and right back out. And when you make this W, really squeeze your shoulder blades together, okay? Just like that. And notice I'm leaning forward just about 45-degree angle, my knees are bent. And we're gonna go with a set of 20 repetitions here. Go slow, really try to squeeze your back muscles here. You really don't need a lot of weight, but if you'd like, I would give you a 1 or 2 pound in your hands because you can feel it in your back even with just your body weight. So 20 repetitions here. Inhale as you come up. Exhale as you come back down. Good. Sit down. We're just targeting those upper back muscles, a little bit of the back of the shoulder here too. Great. Okay. And once we're done with that, we're going to go with an exercise known as a row. So with rowing, we're working on our back muscles, more so the middle back. This is called your latissimus dorsi. It's one of the biggest back muscles you have. We're also working a little bit of your biceps too at the same time. So this can be done with or without weights. I'm going to demonstrate it with, but feel free to grab your weights. I'm going to be leaned forward slightly. Same position as that W. I'm leaned forward about 45-degree angle. Knees are bent. I'm going to hold on to, if you have nothing in your hand, that's fine. Just do this arm movement that I'm doing. If you have dumbbells, hold on to your dumbbells. Elbows straight back. Similarly to those W's, I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades together and back down. Okay, here and right back down. Now the position of the elbows, I'm going to have you running along your sides, along your ribs. So that way we're working more of the middle back muscles. Just like that. 20 repetitions here. And this is an exercise where it's okay to use a little more weight. If you feel comfortable going higher than those 2 or 3 pounders, this is an exercise to do it at. You're using a much stronger muscle group, your latissimus dorsi. They can handle a little more weight. Just be careful and progress slowly with this movement. Very good. Awesome. Okay, once we're done with that, we're going to go with a lateral raise. So this exercise is done with or without weight as well. Just be careful if you're doing this with weights, just because many people with shoulder issues can complain of this exercise, especially if done with a lot of weight. So personally, myself too, I really try not to push the weight on this exercise. We're using a small muscle group, and that's your shoulder muscles. Just your shoulder muscle, really. It's the side of your shoulder muscles. We're going to come up to about shoulder width and right back down. You can do this with or without weight, right here and right back down. 20 repetitions here. Okay. Exhale as you come up, inhale as you come back down. Good. Nicely done. Okay, great. Next, what we're going to do, I'm going to have us do a shrug. So with the shrug, I'm going to have your shoulders come as high up as you can get them. Try to get them to touch your ears. Of course, probably can't do that. Bend right back down. Bring it up and right back down. Okay. So with this movement, we're working on the trapezius muscle. That's the shoulder. That's the muscle that connects the neck to the shoulder right here. Bring it up and bring it back down. With or without weight on this exercise, 20 repetitions. Inhale as you come up, exhale as you come down. Great. Okay, perfect. Once we're done with that, we're going to go with some lower body movements now. I'm going to have us hold on to one dumbbell. Okay. So this is called a goblet squat. So we're going to hold this right in the center of our chest. Okay. So once again, this can be done with or without weight. So just hold your hand in this position if you're not using weight on this exercise. My feet are about shoulder width apart, pointed out slightly to the side. I'm also going to show you guys from a side angle too, so you can see what I'm doing here with my hips. I'm going to push my hips back like I'm about to sit in a chair. Okay, come down to about where your knees form a 90-degree angle, and come right back up. Right back down, right back up. So you don't have to come down that low if your knees and flexibility don't permit, as long as you come down to what your flexibility and strength allows. Okay. So here we're working almost the entire lower body. That's what squats do. They work almost every muscle in your lower body. Very good. Keep that movement up. We're going to go with 20 repetitions here. Very good. Inhale as you come down, exhale as you stand. Very good. Keep it up. Okay, and next we're going to go with is deadlifts. So with deadlifts, they're a variation of a lower body exercise. It can be similar to the squat. So I'm going to demonstrate this. You can do this with or without weight here. There's a couple variations of the deadlift. We're just going to go with the standard one. I'm going to show you at about a 3/4 angle so you can see from the side and a little bit from the front here too. My palms are face down with these dumbbells that I'm holding. I'm going to drop my hips back. I'm not going to drop them so low as I was with the squat. I'm just going to push my hips back, bend my knees. I'm going to come down to where my hands reach kind of where the middle of my shins are and come right back up. You're going to notice that my back is completely flat as I'm dropping down. Okay, I'm going to stand right back up. Okay. So here we're working the lower body. The only difference is with this deadlift, we are working a little more of the back muscles too, lower, middle, and even upper. A little bit of the triceps getting engaged with this exercise too. 20 repetitions here. This is one of those exercises where it's easy to progress weight in a go slow, but you can use progressively higher weights. Unlike the lateral raise that I was demonstrating, where you really don't want to push that weight, this is one where you can get strong. So we can drop the dumbbells. This one's going to be body weight for all. These movements, it's their lower body movements, they just do not require much weight for you to be able to feel them. So we're going to hold on to something, whether it be a wall, chair, anything that's stable. I'm going to have the foot that's away from that object or wall off the floor. I'm going to bring this leg up as high as your flexibility allows and come right back down. But when you come down, I'm not going to have it come too close to the floor. I'm just dropping it down a little bit and coming right back up. Dropping it down about a foot and coming right back up. Go as high as your flexibility allows and right back up. Go slow and 20 repetitions here. You're going to start feeling this in the side of your hips, side of the legs. So we're working on those muscles. We're strengthening them. We're really just targeting them. Unlike the squat or the deadlift where we're working multiple muscles at once, here we're really just targeting those lower body parts. The lateral glute and leg. Quad really. Good. Keep it up. Exhale as your leg comes up, and inhale as your leg comes back down. Once you're done with that, switch over to the other side. Okay. Again, hold on to the wall, come up as high as your flexibility allows, and come right back down. Go slow. Now, if you'd like to add a little bit of resistance onto this, there are ankle weights that people have. There are also bands that you can use to wrap around the ankles as resistance. But once again, the amount of repetitions we're doing, you will feel this. Perfect. Next, what we're going to do is similarly to the last exercise, we're going to hold on to the wall, something stable that you're around. Have that foot that's away from that object off the floor, and I'm going to have it come straight back this time. Okay? So when coming straight back, we're working on the hamstrings and glutes now. As opposed to the side of the leg and side of the glutes, we're working on the glute max, so that's right and back, and the hamstrings, so we're back of the thighs. Have your chest up tall. With this exercise, if you don't stand too tall or keep your abs tight, you can start to feel it in your lower back. So really try to keep your body upright here, okay? And don't go too far to where you feel like you're bending forward, okay? You just want to work those glute muscles and those hamstrings, okay? Notice I'm not even coming up that high, but you can still feel this. Good. 20 repetitions on each side. Exhale as you come up, inhale as you come back down. Good. And once again, if you have ankle weights or you have a band and you'd like to feel a little more resistance, feel free to on this one. Good. Keep it up. Done with that, we'll go with a few more standing exercises, and then we'll repeat things that we've done so far. All right, so we're going to be working on the core while we're standing here. Okay, with this exercise, you can use some weights too, and I'll demonstrate that in a second. Have your hands flat against your sides, feet are about shoulder width apart. I'm going to slide down on one side and come right back up. Okay, we're going to stay on that side, slide down and come right back up. So here we're working the obliques, and that's the side of your abs right here. These muscles are responsible for twisting and bending. So here we're going to be stretching this muscle out and then contracting it as we come back up. If you'd like to use a little bit of weight, feel free to. Hold it on that side that's going to be dipping down and right back up. That just adds a little more resistance to that side that's stretching and flexing. Shoot for 20 there, and as soon as you're done, go ahead and switch sides. Here, we're going to exhale as we come down, inhale as we come back. Now back to the other side. Inhale as you come down, exhale as you come back up. Great. So you can put your weights down for this one. This one's going to be another one that's body weight for everyone. So I'm going to have my feet shoulder width apart, knees bent slightly. I'm going to clasp my hands together. Okay. So this is going to be a chest exercise. This is mostly going to be a strengthening exercise. It's going to have static tension, meaning that a lot of this resistance isn't going to come from the movement itself, but really just me flexing those muscles in. So I'm going to be pressing my palms together, coming forward, and coming back in. Okay? So the level of resistance that you can apply here is really just how hard you press your palms together. So us pressing our palms together here activates those chest muscles, shoulders, and a little bit of the biceps too. As we come out, exhale. As you come in, inhale. Okay. One more resistance. Press those palms together a little harder. And remember to go slow. You're going to feel this. 20 repetitions. Your chest is out. Shoulders are back while we do this. Great. Okay, now that we're done with that, just catch your breath. If you want to get some water, feel free to. Okay, just take a little breather. And then we'll come back. We're going to repeat those exercises. All right. So we're going to start repeating them. So let's get back on the floor. All right. Starting with our exercise called pullovers, and I demonstrated this first with the wand right here. Laying flat on your mat, palms are face down, right over the chest. And we're going to bring this up overhead. Get close to the floor and back over to the chest. Inhale as you come down. Exhale as you come back up. My arms are straight with a slight bend in them. And if you'd like to use some resistance, dumbbells will be palm space. Have your palm space down with the dumbbells in them. Get close to the floor, right back over the chest. Inhale as you come down. Exhale as you come up. 20 repetitions. And sometimes with this exercise, people can feel it in their lower back. So that's why I had my knees bent here. But if you'd like, you can have them extended too. It doesn't really matter. It's just the knees bent can be a little more comfortable to the lower back. So next what I had us do, we're laying on the mat again. I don't know why I just got back up. We're gonna go with palms are face down on the mat. Bring the hips up and right back down. As your hips get close to the floor, try to get them to not touch the floor. Just get close to it. Come right back up and squeeze your glutes when you come on top. Good. So 20 repetitions here. Good. Inhale as your hips come close to the floor. Exhale as you come back up. Good. Good. So next we have, I'm going to have you guys come up.
where, so we're doing our boat pose here. I'm gonna have you leaning back about a 45-degree angle here. If you can, have the feet off the floor and the arms straight out in front. If not, we can modify, have the feet touching the floor. You can grab your legs, but whatever is best for you. We're gonna hold this for 30 seconds. Keep the abs tight here, okay? And we'll count. Remember to breathe while we're doing this. It's really easy to hold in the breath. All these ab exercises, stationary ab exercises. And we're done. Good. Okay, and now we'll lay back on the floor. We're going with flies next. So I'm going to demonstrate this without weights first, and then if anyone would like to use them with weights, I'll demonstrate that next. So palms are facing each other. Bring them apart to where they come close to the floor. You can have them touch the floor here and come right back together. Okay. This is a stretching and strengthening exercise. We're stretching out and strengthening the chest muscles specifically. This does work a little bit of shoulders too. If you'd like to grab your dumbbells, go ahead. Palms are facing each other. Arms close to the floor and right back in. So the dumbbells are going to be over the chest. 20 repetitions here. Inhale as your arms come down. Exhale as you come back up. Good. Okay, and once we're done with that, we'll go with presses. So we're going to stay on the floor here. So this can be done with or without weights. They both look the same with or without weights. Palms are face down. Elbows come down to where they come close to the floor. They can touch and come right back up. As you press, get those hands closer together, get those dumbbells to touch, and then right back down, back up. So with the presses, as opposed to the flies, we are working a little bit more triceps too, just the back of the arms. Inhale as you come down to the floor. Exhale as you come back up. 20 repetitions here. Good. All right, once we're done with that, we're going to go with bird dogs. That was that ab stabilization exercise where one arm comes off the floor and the opposite leg extends. Have them come in, touch, and right back out. Those are hard to balance here. We're going with 15 on each side. Okay? For those who find this exercise a little more challenging, just get one arm up without bringing the legs up and just alternate. Okay? And once you start to feel more comfortable, you can do that with the legs too, without moving the arms. Okay? So this strengthens the abs through stabilization and balance. Inhale as the hands come close to the knees, and exhale as you come out. Very good. Good. All right, and now I'll have you stand. Down those floor exercises. All right, so we're gonna start with the W's that we did. So this exercise can be done with weights, but if you're gonna use them, I wouldn't recommend much higher than 5 pounds, really. So because we're targeting such smaller muscles in your upper back. So I'm gonna have you lean forward, your palms are facing each other starting, and then come out. This is why we call them the W's, because your arms end up forming that W shape at the top and right back in. Okay. You come up, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Good. So leaning forward about 45 degrees right here. My feet are shoulder width apart. Knees are bent slightly. Exhale as you come up. Inhale as you come down. So once again with this one, we're doing 20 repetitions. Most of these that we're doing, just 20. Okay, done with that. Next, we're going with rows. So with this exercise, feel free to use a little more weight if you are using weight. We're going to be using our latissimus dorsi muscles. Those are our middle back muscles, so they can handle a little more. So I'm going to demonstrate it with weight. This movement looks the same with or without weight. So palms facing each other, elbows straight back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Extend the arms. Now my arms are running along my ribs here. Really close in, tucked in. So that's what's going to be activating those muscles. Exhale as you come up, inhale as you come back down. All right, perfect. Next, what we have, we're going to go with our squats. So we're only going to use one dumbbell for this one. All right, so I'm holding this dumbbell right into the center of my chest. And without weight, you can do the same thing, just without the dumbbell. My feet are shoulder width apart. Feet are pointed out slightly. I'm going to point myself at a 3/4 angle so you guys can see what my hips are doing. I'm dropping my hips back like I'm about to sit in a chair. You can stop where the knees form a 90-degree angle and come right back up. Okay, once again, if your flexibility and strength does not permit that movement, just go down as low as it allows. Okay, even a quarter squat is fine. Okay, we're going to go with 20 repetitions here. Exhale as you stand up. Inhale as you drop down. All right, great. Next, we're going with the deadlift. So if you're going to use weights, grab them in both hands. Okay. So this movement is a little different than a squat, especially with my hips. That's why I'm pointed slightly to the side so you can see what I'm doing. My hips are just pushing back as opposed to dropping down here. My hands come back down to where halfway across my shins, and then stand straight up. Okay, so these dumbbells are running along my legs. They're not going too far out. They're staying close. You're going to notice my back is completely flat as I'm doing this. Exhale as you come up. Inhale as you come back down. Here we're working the entire lower body, but we're focusing a little more on the hamstrings and glutes. The back muscles are being used too in the deadlift. Lower back, middle back, even a little bit of upper back too. Good. Repetitions there. Great. We're going to go with a lateral raise next. This works the shoulder. We're only going to use one dumbbell right now. These are called your deltoid muscles. Specifically, we're working the lateral one with this movement. It's a small muscle group, so I recommend doing this without weight or a very small weight, just because you will feel it. So we're going to bring this dumbbell to about shoulder height right here, and right back down. Shoulder height, right back down. Okay. My feet are shoulder width apart, knees are slightly bent. My arm is slightly bent too, as you can see. It's straight with a slight bend in my elbow. Good. Exhale as you come up. Inhale as you come back down. Just keep your body straight while you're doing this. Once you're done with that, you can drop the dumbbells. We're going to go with some leg movements again. We're going to do them against the wall or a chair, anything, stop moving. I'm going to have the foot that's away from that, off the floor. Bring it up as high as your flexibility allows, and drop down. When I'm dropping down, I'm not dropping too close to the floor. I'm bring this down about a foot or so. Okay. Got 20 repetitions here. Okay. And for resistance, there are ankle weights or bands that you can use. Just doing this with body weight, you'll still feel it. We're working on the side of the glutes, the lateral glutes, and the side of the legs too. So unlike the squat or the deadlift, we're just targeting specific muscles in the legs here. Good. Once you're done with 20 on that side, go ahead and switch to the other side. Exhale as you come up. Inhale as you come back down. And often you can even feel it in the leg that's not moving too. So that leg is just stabilizing your entire body. So you can move it. All right, now with that, next we're going straight back with the legs. And right back in. So make sure you're keeping your body tall here and you're not bending excessively forward. Okay. Just go with what your flexibility allows. Okay. 20 repetitions. So we're working the glutes and hamstrings with this exercise. Good. Keep it up. Nicely done. Exhale as you come up, inhale as you come back down. We're almost done here. All right, great. Next we have a standing abdominal exercise. So I have a dumbbell in my hand right here, but this can be done without too. I'm going to have my feet about shoulder width apart, pointed out slightly, knees are slightly bent. My hand, whether it's holding a dumbbell or not, is going to be sliding down my leg and right back down. As I'm doing this, my body's still straight. And we're going to be feeling that stretch and flex in that opposite side, in the obliques. So the obliques are the side of these ab muscles that are responsible for bending and twisting. Okay, go slow. Exhale as you come up. Inhale as you come down. 20 on that side, and then once you're done, we'll get 20 on the other side. Good. All right. So once we're done with that, we'll finish with just a little bit of stretching. Right. We'll start with some very basic ones, and if your flexibility doesn't allow, I'll come up with some modifications for these two. Okay, so we're going to hold one arm across the body, and we're going to hold the elbow and just pull. Okay, this sort of stretching out the upper back, a little bit of the triceps too. You feel a little bit of discomfort with this. Try not to pull too hard. As long as the arm is coming across even a little bit, we're still going to be stretching. And then we'll get the other side. Right, and done with that. Next, what we're going to do, let's just twist the body a little too. And next, we're going to do a runner stretch. So 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Front knee is bent, back leg is straight. You're stretching out the quads of this back leg. You're just stretching out the calves too of this back leg. Let's go ahead and switch sides. Good. If you have a wall or anything that you can get up against, or even just something to hold on to, we're going to have our hand up against it, and we're going to twist the body away from it. So this way we're stretching out the chest, shoulder, and even the biceps too. We might even feel slow in the forearms. Hold this about 10-15 seconds, switch sides. Go ahead and switch sides. end off with another leg stretch, and we'll be done. I'm just gonna have you slide your legs down as far as they can bring you. Okay, whatever that looks like for you. Some people touch the floor, some people right here. That's fine. Whatever your flexibility allows. Try not to push it. Let gravity do its work. If you feel like it's bringing you down just a little more, great. Try not to push it too much here. We're stretching out into the lower backs, hamstrings, and glutes. A little into the calves too here. Slowly come up. Good work, everyone. That was good. Really good. Great. Awesome.